What's up guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going over 10 things DC wants you to forget about the Flash. And without further ado, let's get straight on the video with number 10. The Flash has killed multiple people. It's pretty common for superheroes to have a rule against the killing of others, as they see their job as trying to protect all they can. No one is perfect, however, as proven by Barry's number of murders of his enemies. This list includes unintentionally breaking Professor Zoom's neck to stop him from killing another one of his loves, turning Savitar to dust after being unknowingly altered by Reverse Flash, and putting a broom through Shark King's back to save his love, Iris. While it can be argued that he did all these things either by accident or to protect those he cares for, it doesn't change the psychological impact of breaking the most important rule to a hero. After all, if someone is willing to kill, are they really that different from those they work to protect the innocent from? Number 9. Barry Allen wasn't the original Flash. Nowadays, with the CW's version of the Flash being so popular, it's no surprise that DC wants to enforce this idea that Barry Allen is the first Flash. However, he wasn't. The original Flash dates back to the 1940s, where the Scarlet Speedster no other than Jay Garrick. Garrick got his powers in a different way than Barry Allen. During a lab experiment, a test tube of hard water accidentally spilled and the fumes knocked him out completely. After a week, he finally woke up and behold, the Flash was born. His costume is entirely different from the full red suit we see now on screens. Instead, he wore a metal hat that had symmetrical wings on the side, as well as a red shirt with the iconic lightning bolt symbol. Maybe DC wants you to forget about the less attractive costume, but there is an obvious push to make it so that Barry Allen is the first Flash. Number 8. The Flash went through a murder trial. Thinking that a superhero could be held accountable for his wrongdoings is not common, but that's exactly what happened for the Speedster. After killing Professor Zoom to protect his new fiancée because Reverse Flash killed his first wife, Barry was subsequently put on trial for murder. Even more interesting was the outcome of the trial, where the Flash was found guilty, but he escapes the trial before being arrested. He then travels to the future and discovers that Abracadabra was actually disguised as the Reverse Flash, and it was all a move to cast out the Flash from society. When this is brought to light, the verdict is reversed and Barry's name is cleared. Later on, however, his ex-wife Iris returns to a body in the 30th century, and the two are reunited to be happy together once again. Only in comic books could such a tragic situation end so happy. Number 7. The villains he faced were not intimidating at all. So you know how villains are supposed to be completely evil? Well, the Flash had some villains that were actually pretty nice. The Rogues, a group of villains that fight against the Flash, are made up of not so evil villains. In fact, they as a group, get this guys, has a moral code. Their code is to never harm women or children, never kill cops, and keep cruelty to a minimum. The entire team is made up of quirky and odd individuals with not so popular powers. Take Captain Boomerang for example. In Suicide Squad, the movie, he, well, just throws boomerangs. Another one is Pied Piper, who is considered to be the master of sonics as he uses a flute with hypnotic powers. On a couple of other accounts, the Rogues even team up with the Flash. It's weird how DC created this team of villains that spend more time making sure they don't break their code than actually being bad. Number 6. The Flash has broken reality before. It should be obvious that the goal of any good superhero is to save the world and all those in it. This is usually what the Flash does, until one strange day where he allowed personal interests to get in his way. Going back in time to stop the murder of his mother, a noble cause in itself, he actually managed to break time due to immense speed force required to do so. This created what's known as the Flashpoint storyline. Such changes this created included the murder of Bruce Wayne, the imprisonment of Superman, and a war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman that devastated the entire planet. This drastic change led to the creation of the New 52, a 2011 revamp of old DC comics. The Flash definitely learned a valuable lesson here about the moral uncertainty of pulling personal favors to help those close to you. Number 5. The Flash was once part of a failed supervillain. If you already know about the 90s crossover between Marvel and DC known as Amalgam, then you know why it isn't very well known. In the specific case of the Flash, fans were given Speed Demon, an underwhelming cross with Ghost Rider who can pretty much be summed up by a Ghost Rider who can run fast. The whole reason for this mashup derived from financial troubles due to low comic book sales at the time, and this desperate creation is what spawned from it. The lack of creativity can be seen even by looking at the new character's name, simply taking Barry Allen and Johnny Blaze and pumping out Blaze Allen. Overall, the whole project failed to gain much support, but the Flash's counterpart has still to be one of the low points, hence why DC doesn't like to remind its fans about it often. Number 4, the Flash has a secret evil brother. I guess there's one in every family, right? But at least it's pretty easy to see where the fury of the lesser known Malcolm Thawne comes from, with his deep-seated hatred for his much luckier twin brother. After being removed from his well-off family at birth, and instead growing up in an abusive household, Malcolm's anger in finding out what could and should have been makes plenty of sense. This causes him to be a far less noble character than his speedy superhero brother, and instead he picks up the identity of Cobalt Blue, bent on removing the speed powers of his brother. The tense feud didn't stop with these two, however, and continues for generations. Number 3, there's a Bizarro Flash. We all know Bizarro, Superman's opposite, but have you ever heard of Bizarro Flash? He was created by Bizarro when he figured out how to essentially make Bizarro clones with the same radiation from the blue sun that made him. If you're wondering about what the opposite of the Flash would look like, the answer is a sad, overweight, flying version. He runs extremely slow, but actually flies quite fast. Adding to that, he never laughs. He is always serious and loves to eat. Instead of the flashy lightning bolt symbol, Bizarro Flash has a mustard stain that is shaped like a thunderbolt. In opposition to the Justice League, there is a Bizarro League, and this upsetting version of the Flash is part of it. It's unclear why DC made such a forgettable character who has only appeared in a handful of comics throughout the years. Number 2, there's an alternate universe where he's a turtle. In 1982, DC published a short comic called Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew, and the premiere was around a team of very funny and loving animal superheroes. This entire universe is something of itself, as it has absolutely nothing to do with the comics we know today. Animals included a rabbit, cat, pig, duck, and more, but the parallel to the Flash was ironically a turtle. Meet Timmy Joe Terrapin, otherwise known as Fastback. He lived in Okie Dokie Swamp and got his powers from a meteor fragment that hit him while he was trying to catch a bus. He can also use his shell as a shield and withdraw his head and limbs inside for protection. He was portrayed to be slow-witted and laid back. Obviously, this story is made for children, and not much is heard or even known about the Amazing Zoo Crew today, probably because DC wants us to forget about how cringy and odd this whole idea was. Number 1, the Flash is both fast in and out of the bedroom. Okay, I know all of you were probably wondering about this. In the animated Justice League series, DC puts a more adult joke in the episode Eclipse, which is episode 13 in season 2. The Flash begins to brag about how he can put out a fire so quickly and how he's the fastest man alive to his fellow superheroes. Hot Girl, who is next to him, remarks, which might explain why you can't get a date. The Scarlet Speedster is then confused on the weird remark he heard from Hot Girl. Is this DC's way of subtly answering everyone's underlying question? Either way, it's surprising that this little comment got the okay to be aired during a child's show. And that is it for the video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @ValenPlana, and I'll see you all later.